In this tutorial, we're going to show you how to change the labels that you see in the metadata shown here on this panel, as well as in the import screen, where you see the prompts for the fields for organizing your videos that you import. So each one of these labels are user definable so that you can customize or align your application for multi-view to the particular field that you're in. We call this the application profile, which are the labels that you use to identify each of the fields or the metadata that you're importing. So the way you update that or change that is we go to the global settings screen and we click on profiles. This is the application profile screen where it allows you to assign the labels for your metadata as you import, as well as what you see in your program panel and playlist. So the top field here is actually the name of the profile, and then you have the primary category label, the subcategory to the primary category label, and then import information label that allows you to assign information to the clips or metadata, how you want to describe the clips that are being imported. The project label actually becomes the template label unless you put a colon or a dot between the name of the template, in this case sports, and then what you want to call or have the project label be defined as. So in this particular case, we call the bike event as being the project label. So when you get prompted, it's going to, or if you're going to see the data, it'll tell you that the project is actually a bike event, not a project per se. So if you are looking in your screens, you'll see bike event. The same thing with the primary category, subcategory. So I can make these names whatever I wish that will suit my application. So in this particular case, location, day of the week, and shot description might be appropriate for a sports event that might be a bike training or bike event. Yet if I was doing something that had to do with maybe a dance studio, it might be appropriate, would be the project might be associated with a student. So every clip that I bring in would be organized by students. So I would want the name to be student, the project to ask me what the student ID would be, and then maybe the primary category would be the type of dance, and then within that category, maybe the exercise being used. And then in a descriptive label, and I use the word description because that seems to apply in many cases. Let's take a look at one more. Let's say I'm looking at something like I'm doing a small film. Well, obviously the name of the project would be the film name, so it would ask me the project, what is the film name, and then the primary category might be a reel, and then within each reel you might have various scenes, and then perhaps the import information might be other information about the film, or it could be maybe the in this case maybe it could be maybe what I really want to know is the camera angle. So I put camera angle, and you can see you can change these and save them. So I'm going to just save that. Now if I look at my field labels, I've got the film, the reel name, the scene name, and the camera angle. And then if you look at your import screen, you can see now it's going to ask me enter the information about the clips that are being imported, and it's going to be real name, scene name, and camera angle. So this all aligns with my film template. Same thing with the playlist. If I look here, I can see it now says film, real name, scene, and of course the data. Those are standard, and then the camera angle. Go back now to the profile. What we're going to do here is we're going to now create our own new template. And let's say the application might be a language lab. So we would want to probably describe this as a new template, and maybe we would call this this would be a study, and the study would involve maybe a patient. So the subject matter here, primary project, would be perhaps the patient ID. So we're going to study a patient's behavior. It might be, as I say, a language lab. So maybe you want to do this by, the category might be day of the week. And then a subcategory might be what you're studying, whether it's lip movement or tongue movement. So this might be, the label for this might be what the actual activity perhaps that you're doing. And then since we're doing multiple angles, we probably want to put in which camera angle or what we're using for that to get that particular point of view. Now, the definition is just something that would not be prompted, but just reminds you of what these labels mean. And obviously, the day of the week, if you want to be more specific, maybe you want to have it mentioned to be not only the actual day, but perhaps maybe it would be the day number. So you could just put a note here for yourself, day number, and the day. And then activity, maybe you want to give an example. Might be a lip movement. Because we're going to provide this data later when we create and import the clips. And I'll show you in a moment here. And camera angle, obviously that could be, the name of what the point of view of that camera is. So now we've defined a new template for a study that would be for, and could be used for many different types of studies. But in this particular case, I'm using it for a language speech lab. Okay, so now if I look at my labels, you can see it's going to have the patient ID, the day of the week, the activity that we're doing, in the camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new project now. And it's going to ask you to put in the new patient ID. So you want to, obviously you want to know what that is, but let's say it might be patient ID 48 dash, I'm just making this 9097. And then it's going to ask me if I want to import. And notice it's going to ask me what day of the week. Well, this might be a Monday. And the activity might be, let's say it's going to be lip movement. And this might be the camera pointed front-facing camera. And that would be the data that gets associated with this patient. And I would say, okay. And then, of course, I would go ahead and find the clips, import them, and then it'll be organized. So at this point, we've explained about creating an application profile and an example of how to do it.